The Directorate General of Foreign Trade under India's Ministry of Commerce and Industry announced on August 3rd that, effective immediately, it would require permits for the import of laptops, tablets, and personal computers. However, the very next day, India declared a 3-month delay in the implementation of this mandate, partially overturning its surprising decision from the day before. The government release did not specify the reason for this change, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi's administration has consistently been promoting domestic manufacturing and curbing imports in line with its Made in India initiative. While the Indian government hasn't explicitly said that the new import restrictions target China, anonymous sources within the government mentioned to Reuters that the licensing measure is aimed at addressing trade imbalances with China. Data suggests that over half of India's annual $10 billion imports in personal computers and tablets are made in China. Consequently, some commentators believe that India's move is a call to capture the Chinese electronics manufacturing market. Even before this recent restrictive measure, India had been increasing import tariffs on products, including smartphones and PCs, for several years. The goal was to compel manufacturers to choose to import components and assemble them locally in India. Concurrently, the Indian government has been implementing incentive policies to encourage device manufacturers to set up factories in India. According to Reuters, this carrot and stick strategy has been highly effective. In just a few years, it has helped establish a relatively complete smartphone supply chain in India. However, in contrast, the growth of the local PC manufacturing industry has been somewhat modest. As a remedy, in 2021, the Indian government approved an incentive scheme worth approximately 73.5 billion rupees, or $892 million. Additionally, the government's public procurement will favor locally produced goods. In May this year, they introduced a $2 billion program aimed at promoting the local manufacturing of laptops, PCs, servers, and related edge computing hardware. This plan is pivotal to India's ambitious vision of becoming a major player in the global electronics supply chain, aiming for an annual production worth $300 billion by 2026. Thus, India's recent restrictions on importing computer-related products are seen as a follow-up to earlier measures, like raising tariffs and offering incentives. The objective is to leverage the vast Indian market to compel foreign companies to manufacture key electronics products, especially high import volume items within India. Data from the Indian government indicates that imports of electronic products, including laptops, tablets, and personal computers, reached $19.7 billion between April and June, representing a year-on-year growth of 6.25%. Laptops, tablets, and PCs account for approximately 1.5% of India's total annual imports. Industry data reveals that India sold 14.4 million desktops and laptops last year, making it one of the world's most important PC markets. Despite a global decline in the PC market, India's has been expanding at a double-digit rate, marking it as a competitive battleground for many PC brands. Apple, Dell, Samsung, HP, Lenovo, LG, as well as Taiwanese brands Asus and Acer, are key laptop retailers in the Indian market. However, most of these brands manufacture their products destined for India in regions outside of India, predominantly in China and Thailand, and hence could be impacted by the recent regulations. As these manufacturers have varying levels of production lines established in India, the impact may be different for each. For instance, Dell and HP are among the companies that already have PC manufacturing facilities in India. Products like Apple's iPad and Dell's laptops are imported into India rather than locally produced. The Indian government aims to further expand local production, making India a global manufacturing hub for Apple and its manufacturing partners. For Acer, it established a small assembly line in India last year for desktops and laptops, with an annual production capacity of 500,000 units each, which could potentially offset adverse conditions. However, Asus might not be as fortunate. Reports suggest that while Asus is the 5th largest personal computer brand in India, its local footprint is not as robust as other manufacturers like Acer, making it potentially more challenging to obtain import permits in the future. Senior industry executives indicate that the permit system could result in long waiting periods for each new model they release. The timing of the new regulations just ahead of India's festive season, which typically sees a surge in sales, could be one reason why the Indian government postponed the implementation by 3 months. The move's spirit is to push manufacturing to India, says Ali Akhtar Jafri, former executive director of the electronics industry body MAIT. It's not a nudge, it's a push. As it stands, the PC manufacturing infrastructure in India is not fully developed and lacks a comprehensive supply chain. Its location is also significantly further away from the mature PC industry clusters in China compared to Vietnam and Thailand. This distance is a key reason why laptop manufacturers are less willing to set up factories in India. Broadly speaking of the PC manufacturing industry, currently 80% of global PC products are still produced in China. Clearly, India's recent restriction on importing PC-related products is yet another move targeting China's PC manufacturing sector. In recent years, fiscal measures adopted by the Modi government to promote domestic manufacturing have increasingly attracted companies like Foxconn and Wistron to shift from China to set up factories in India. We've reported previously that Apple has been accelerating its production and sales strategies in India. Consequently, Apple suppliers have continuously expanded their manufacturing infrastructure in the country, gradually shifting iPhone production away from China. Foxconn, the primary assembler of iPhones, has been consistently in the news for its plans to set up new electronic factories in India. On July 31st, the state government of Tamil Nadu, located in southern India, announced that Taiwan's Foxconn has signed an agreement to invest $194 million in building a new electronic component manufacturing facility, aiming for completion by 2024. This facility is expected to create 6,000 jobs. An anonymous source from the state government revealed that Foxconn Industrial Internet Co. Ltd. would construct the new factory in the Kanchipuram region, near the state capital of Chennai. Specific details about the venture remain undisclosed. Foxconn Industrial Internet produces electronic devices, cloud service equipment, and industrial robots. It remains uncertain if the new facility will manufacture components for the iPhone, for other companies, or both. Reports suggest that this new factory will operate independently from Foxconn's large iPhone assembly campus near Chennai, which currently employs around 40,000 workers. On the same day, July 31st, Foxconn also signed a Research and Innovation Memorandum of Understanding with the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras and Guidance, the Tamil Nadu government's investment agency. The anonymous source mentioned that the collaboration aims to introduce more high-value technology to the state through Foxconn. Earlier in March, Basavaraj Bommai, the chief minister of Karnataka, had stated that the world's highest valued company would soon manufacture iPhones in a new facility in the state, generating nearly 100,000 jobs. According to recent data, India has risen to become the fifth largest iPhone market, trailing only behind the UK, Japan, China, and the US. Moreover, India ranks as the second largest smartphone market globally, making it a hotbed for leading brands. While the iPhone continues to expand its presence, India remains a vital overseas market for numerous Chinese mobile brands. However, since last year, several major Chinese smartphone suppliers, including Xiaomi, the world's third largest, have faced allegations of money laundering and tax evasion in India. Since last year, Xiaomi Corporation has had $670 million of its bank assets frozen by the Indian Federal Financial Crime Authority. Xiaomi is alleged to have made illegal overseas payments under the guise of royalties. To date, the frozen funds have not been released. In December 2021, Xiaomi India also underwent a tax evasion investigation by the Indian tax authorities. Since entering the Indian market in 2014, Xiaomi surpassed Samsung by the end of 2017 to become the largest smartphone supplier in India. Consequently, India emerged as Xiaomi's most crucial overseas market. The Indian Federal Financial Crime Authority has frozen $670 million in bank assets of Xiaomi since last year. The agency accuses Xiaomi of making illegal remittances. Nevertheless, Xiaomi's performance in the Indian market has significantly declined since last year, with Samsung reclaiming the top spot. According to a Canalys report on India's mobile phone shipments for this year's second quarter, Samsung retained the lead, followed by Vivo, pushing Xiaomi to third place. Additionally, Apple's iPhone is gaining increasing popularity in India. Apart from Xiaomi, two other Chinese mobile manufacturers, Vivo, ranked second in market share, and Oppo, ranked fifth, have also been accused of tax evasion by Indian authorities. With Chinese companies getting embroiled in regulatory investigations and the Indian government keen on nurturing its domestic mobile industry chain, Chinese enterprises may gradually lose their leading edge in India's smartphone market. Furthermore, the Indian government's new regulations targeting PC products might encourage brands to boost domestic manufacturing in India, potentially replacing Made in China. Reports suggest that an unnamed Indian government source aims to curb Chinese supply, reinforcing domestic manufacturing and addressing the security concerns of Chinese-made products. Thus, while India is adopting various measures to attract investments, it is also intensifying the scrutiny of Chinese business investments in the country. Just last month, India rejected a $1 billion factory proposal from BYD, citing security concerns. As reported by The Economic Times on July 22nd, BYD proposed a $1 billion investment to the Indian regulatory authorities, planning to collaborate with Mega Engineering and Infrastructure, based in Hyderabad, to establish an electric vehicle joint venture in India, producing electric cars and batteries. However, this proposal was declined by India. The report mentioned that India's Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade sought opinions from other departments regarding this investment proposal. Citing an Indian official, the report stated that during the discussions, concerns about the security of Chinese investments in China were raised. Indian officials also fear that data collected by Chinese-made electric vehicles might compromise national security. Additionally, BYD has been accused of evading import taxes and is currently under investigation by Indian authorities. BYD stands as China's largest new energy vehicle manufacturer and is a smartphone OEM. It is rapidly expanding its global footprint, positioning itself as a challenger to Tesla, which continues to dominate electric vehicle sales. Should BYD's investment in India be approved, the company would secure a position in nearly all major global automotive markets except the US. This is significant, given that India is currently the third largest automotive market globally. Notably, Tesla has yet to sell its vehicles in India. While BYD's investment plans in India faced setbacks, Tesla's investment proposals received a warm reception. In June of this year, Elon Musk met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New York. After the meeting, Musk told the media that the Indian premier was encouraging a significant investment from Tesla in India. Musk emphasized India's vast potential in the sustainable energy frontier, including solar power, stationary battery packs, and electric vehicles. He also expressed his interest in bringing SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet service to India. Subsequently, Tesla swiftly initiated closed-door discussions with Indian officials. Insiders have stated that these talks are ongoing, with speculation that Tesla may establish a factory in India to manufacture a new low-cost electric vehicle priced at $24,000. The sources also mentioned that detailed discussions about Tesla's entry into the Indian EV market took place, with Modi taking a personal interest in the development. However, the content of these discussions remains strictly confidential. In fact, as early as May, Musk had hinted that Tesla might select a location for a new factory by the end of the year, suggesting India as a favorable site. Tesla executives visited India in May, engaging in discussions with local officials and ministers about establishing automotive and battery manufacturing bases there. There are also reports indicating that Tesla has suppliers in China. These suppliers have helped Tesla reduce production costs at its Shanghai plant, and Tesla hopes to bring these suppliers to its operations in India. Reuters reported that during negotiations, India conveyed to Tesla that if its Chinese suppliers could establish collaborative relationships with local companies, akin to Apple's approach, they would be granted permission to operate in the country. If this information is accurate, the implication is clear. It's not just the mobile and PC manufacturing chains that might shift from China to India in the future, but possibly the electric vehicle supply chain as well. Besides the rejection of BYD's automotive investment proposal, China's Great Wall Motors plan to invest $1 billion in India last year also failed to secure approval from regulatory authorities. Subsequently, the company laid off all its employees operating in India. Indeed, since 2020, India has ramped up its scrutiny of Chinese enterprise investment. Furthermore, citing data and privacy concerns, India banned almost 300 Chinese mobile apps, including popular ones like TikTok, WeChat, Alibaba, and several apps under the umbrella of NetEase. India's Ministry of Electronics and IT stated that these apps were transmitting sensitive data about Indian citizens to foreign servers, including those in China, posing threats to the privacy of Indians and national security. The ministry directed app stores, including Google's, to remove these applications.